Hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the start of a mini series here on the channel where I decided to get back into collecting PlayStation 2. Um, and in this video, I'm going to show off my collection so far of PS2 and PS1 games. As you can see, my PS2 is playing there on the back of that old CRT. And I'm going to talk about the process of like what made me want to get back into collecting for the PlayStation 2, and what are my end goals with collecting for the system. Because I have been collecting for the last 5 years physical media of DVDs and Blu-rays and VHS, and so I just decided it's about time that I get back into the PS2. So back a decade ago, I got into video game collecting, and it started with the PlayStation 2. And there's a couple of YouTubers that really got me kick-started into that. At first, it was watching Metal Jesus Rocks on here on YouTube. I used to watch a lot of his older videos, and then his newer videos at the time, like a decade ago, religiously, and that's what kind of got me into the idea of retro gaming. But then it wasn't, and then I also was watching Alpha Omega Sin at the same time, so that also contributed to that as well. But what really got me to actually go out and ask about physical, getting PS2 and all that was the Game Chasers. Yeah, watching Billy and Jay and their show at the time, which would have been around really kind of not necessarily early into their YouTube career, as a good few years, but it was around episode 40, between episode 44 and 46, I think it was when I watched. It was the that's my PlayStation episode. That was the most recent episode at the time, and so obviously I went back and watched the entire series, and I fell in love with it. And then I got my PS2 off of my cousin, and then I started building up my collection. Where I went to it was a brand new charity shop that had opened up at the time. It used to be called NCBI in my local area. It's now called Vision Ireland. I asked about the PS2 games, had a look, picked out a couple, asked the price, and the guy just gave them to me for free because there's no price on them, which was very, very kind. And I think I still have a way to watch that first. I do have a way to watch that first pickups video, for when I got into collecting. If I remember to, I might actually insert a clip of the first pickups video here.
But today I went down the town and I went into a secondhand shop and I spotted some PlayStation 2 games. So I asked to see them. There are a few sports titles, a few games that I wouldn't really like, and then I had four. I had Lego Star Wars 2, um, Ratchet and Clank 3, Jack and Dexter 3, Jack and Dexter. Uh, those were the four games. So I decided to choose two games from that lot side. I tried to find a price on them, didn't have any price, so I just picked Jack 1, Ratchet Clank 3. He says, how much are these? He says, is there any price on them? I said, no. So he's like, alright, you can have them. I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, no problem. So I'm like, alright. So here is Ratchet, no, not Ratchet Clank, Jack and Dexter, the Prescriptious Legacy. Unfortunately, it is not complete. It is missing the manual, but I have tested the game and it works perfectly. So once I get a memory card, I will definitely be doing a let's play on that because I just love the Jack and Dexter franchise so much. So now the deal with Ratchet and Clank 3 is something that I didn't realize until I got home, and it has, I'm not sure if you can see it, Jack 2 Renegade. So wrong disc, but it doesn't bother me because the Ratchet and Clank 3.
And so that's what spawned it. And I had like a really big collection, not like a massive collection like I have behind me now, but it was sizable enough. I was happy with it, but as things went on, I kind of cannibalized my collection, meaning I would take stuff from my collection, because this was back when CEX actually opened up in my local area. And so I would take games from my collection, trade it in, use that voucher to buy new games, and then there was it would repeat itself. So I was actually losing out money doing that. So like say I could buy a PS2 game in a charity shop for €2, I trade it in for 50 cents. So I'm losing money on that front. So eventually in 2017 I said enough is enough, and it's time to. And I just got out of collecting. I just got out of video game collecting altogether. The plan was to start from scratch, but every time I tried to get back into video game collecting, it did not go far. But here's a photo of what my collection looked at one point, for my video game collection back in this very room, because this used to be my bedroom. um, and I miss it. And every time I look at that photo and I think back to the collection I had as a kid, specifically for, or not as a kid, as a teenager, for the PlayStation 2, I miss it. I do. And so eventually, I, with my partner, we went up to her house, found a bunch of her old DS games and her DS and a Game Boy Advance. I've kept a Game Boy Advance. I tried, the DS would not work no matter what I did to it. I got a new charger, still wasn't charged. Put in a new battery, would charge, would not turn on. Bought some screwdrivers to take it apart. No clue what I'm looking at, and so I kind of gave up. And whatever games I was going to keep for that, I traded in, because initially I was going to buy a DSi and go from there. But on Saturday, or rather, I should say, the Saturday just gone for me, because I'm filming this on the 8th of April. I had them in my bag as if I was going to get rid of them and go for something else, like, because as you see, I do collect physical media, and I had a look to see if there's anything there, DVD, Blu-rays wise, that I would have wanted, and there wasn't. And so I got talked, because I'm friends with the people who work in my local CEX, and I think that it dawned on me. It's like, okay, I have 102 on a voucher. It's 115 for the PS2. I'd only be 12.50 out of pocket. Let me pick up 3 games on top of that, and so I was only €30 out of pocket. And so, but since then, I've actually added in quite a few more games since then, because I traded in a Blu-ray and a free NES Zapper that I got off of them, that I got off of someone, and I seen that CEX started to actually do. They do all the retro stuff now, like back as far as the NES. And so I looked it up. I saw, oh, I'm gonna get a free €6 voucher for this that someone kindly gave to me that I have no real use for. Let me go trade that in with the Blu-ray of a movie that I knew I wasn't going to watch. And so I did. So I got €12 on a voucher. Bought 2 games. One of them didn't work, unfortunately. Brought that back today. As of filming this, bought 3 games. 2 work. One's going to have to be brought back. Unfortunately, that seems to be the common occurrence with CEX that I forgot about when I came to like buying games. So yeah, gonna go through the collection that I have right now of the PS1 and the PS2 games, because I actually still had, because I didn't have any of my PS2 games. I didn't have any, like I thought I did, but I guess I threw them out. But I still had 4 PS1 games, and then a cousin of mine gave me an extra controller and 3 games. So I'm going to save the PS2 games for last, and I'll quickly run through the PS1 games that I have. So starting us off with, we have Command and Conquer in this little jewel case. So I have the manual, and then I have both discs there. My cousin got this for free, so I got it off of him. So cool. I'm not really fond of these games, but I might give it a proper try to see if I could actually get into the tactics games. The next one that I have here is Lilo and Stitch Trouble in Paradise, or Disney's Lilo and Stitch, which is why it's in D. The door is fucked on it. It's missing the cover art, but it has the manual, and then it has the disc. I played a bit of it, a good bit of it. It's basically Crash Bandicoot. Is the honest answer that is the best way I can describe this game is it's Crash Bandicoot. Um, Moving on, I do have Power Rangers Time Force, because this is one of the games that I grew up with. Don't have much memories of it, but I do remember this artwork. And so I picked it up back when I used to collect for video games, and it is unfortunately missing manual. But I played a little bit of it just to test it to see if it actually worked. The other game that my cousin gave to me was RoboPit 2. Never heard of it. I played a little bit of it. It's basically to build your own robot and basically Tekken. It's a really bad polygon Tekken. Um, and this, if I can get it open, is complete. So, yeah, let me just put that back in. Next up is a childhood favorite of mine that I definitely had, and that is Scooby Doo and the Cyber Chase. I love this movie, and I love the game. I definitely do remember playing it. The case has seen better days, like most PS1 dual cases are, but as everything is just falling out on me, um, it is CIB. So just fix that up. Then the second last PS1 game I have is the Jungle Book Group Party, another classic of mine. That was the most recent PS2 game that I got from CEX for that didn't work. Even though I already have it on the PS1, I don't have a PS1 memory card currently, so I'm going to want to get the memory card for that, and then either get them to clean it up because the disc looked fine. It's just it was stuck on the PS2 logo, and then it just wouldn't continue on from there. But the Jungle Book Group Party is complete in box. And then the last PS1 game that I have is Tekken 2, which is a game that I grew up with because my cousin was obsessed with Tekken. Um, so yeah, it's again another one of these CD cases. So they all work, and I've played it because I play and test them now. So moving on to the PS2 stack, we have starting off with is Codename Kids Next Door Operation Video Game. Now I watched this growing up, this cartoon growing up, but I never played the PlayStation game. Even when I had it in my original collection, I never played it, and so I am playing it now. I'm playing through it now. I'm 4 levels deep into 15 levels, so it's okay. My only gripe with it is the camera angle. It sucks. It sucks so bad. But it is, of course, CIB. Um, the more recent pickup today was the first game that I got that didn't work alongside Codename Kids Next Door was Lego Star Wars, the video game. And I don't want to get any platinum games in my collection. I want to avoid those, and especially with the discs. And so both discs that I had for the non-platinum version were fucked to all hell. Because the one that I had, it would just go to the red screen of death, as I like to refer to it as. So I brought it back, got my €6 back on a voucher, bought 3 games, only 2 of which work, unfortunately. So those being Fantastic Four. Movie tie-in games can be hit or miss, but sometimes they can, sometimes they're hits, sometimes they're miss. And of course, it is CIB. And then, of course, so that was €4. Then, of course, we have the Rise of the Silver Surfer, which was also there. This was €2, and it is also CIB. I played a little bit of this, obviously to test it. This one's a bit finicky. It's a bit finicky. It took a while to get it to work, but when it did work, it was working. And it plays like that X-Men Legends game, where you have control of the 4 characters and you can switch between them. So I thought that was pretty neat. I picked up when I first bought the console was Harry Potter Quidditch, just because, as you can see, the price there, it was €2. Forgot to take it off, and it is, of course, complete in box. But I got it just because it'd be something that me and my partner can play. Um, Now, the other game that I got with the console, because we're getting into the 3 games that I got with my console, is of course a game that I loved as a kid. Never didn't finish it, but I plan to now, and that is Jack and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy, which is again one of the first games that I got when I started collecting. So it is of course not complete, but it does come with a map that I never knew it came with. So unfortunately, it doesn't go. But I still bought it just because I wanted the map. So yeah, I'm gonna stick that behind me. As you can see, I have a shit ton of posters behind me now. the one thing I still have from my original collection um, is this. It's a making of Jack and Dexter, the Precursor Legacy um, DVD that also came with, if I can take out, so here's the making of disc, but it also comes with a demo for Jack 3. Now, this has been slightly water damaged and all that the case has anyway. It's like I can feel the dust on it from the last couple of years that it's been on my windowsill. But I put in the demo disc and it still works. And then the last thing that I got is it. If you've watched my channel before, you know I'm a huge Star Trek fan. So of course, PlayStation 2 does have Star Trek games, and my local CEX did have a Star Trek game, Star Trek Encounters. So of course I was going to pick it up, and it is CIB, and that's my collection for right now. It's just these plus three more. As of filming this, I'm going to be getting some, probably picking up some more games tomorrow when I get paid. So, what's the goal with this? With my new starting this collection up again, and that is mainly just. And I'm not, because I got obsessed with trying to complete the PS2 library. Instead, and I just wasn't playing the games. I just collected them for collecting purposes. I didn't actually physically play the games. This time, I'm going to try and actually play the games. As I said, I am currently playing through Codename Kids Next Door, and I'm having a blast with it, except for the really bad camera angle. And then from there, I'm going to move on to the other games and actually play them. The same with the PS1 when I get a memory card. Um, but the main goal is just to get the games that I had as a kid, that I know that I loved. Now that's going to be a little bit difficult because some of those games are now really, really pricey. Like if I want to get Simpsons Road Rage in CEX, it's €32. Hit and Run boxed with the manual is 48. So I might try Vinted. Maybe a bit of eBay as well. I'm not too sure, but I don't see PlayStation 2 games in charity shops all that much. But I'm going to try and film me going hunting. I'll have a look, film like going looking in different charity shops and that. And going and trying that, and then of course in CEX, and like maybe traveling to other CEXs like up to Drogheda or to Dublin. We'll see on that one, and having a gander at what's up there. But yeah, I grew up with the PS2. The PS2 wasn't my first console. It's my second console. My first console was actually the PlayStation 1. But then when I moved into this house 20 odd years ago, we did get a PS2, and I have a lot of those childhood memories with my mother playing Crash Bandicoot and Crash Twinsanity and all of that. And so I definitely, that's one of the other main reasons, is there's a lot of nostalgic for it. But when it comes to collecting, as I said, I'm not going to be getting platinum games. I know I have some PS1 platinum games in here, and that's going to happen. That's just the way I had it, with the only one platinum game is the Lilo and Stitch one, and that's fine. I'm not all that pushed about that, but when it comes to PS2, it has to be the non-platinum versions, and they have to have the manuals. That is my only condition for picking it up, because in my CEX, I do know they have Destroy All Humans 1 and 2 for a fiver a piece, but because they don't have the manual, I'm probably not going to pick them up. But saying that, knowing me, I probably will end up picking them up tomorrow. Either that or it'll be Jack 2 Renegade. I'm not 100% sure. But we shall see. We shall see. I'm not sure how frequently I'm going to be updating, these types of videos. I'm not sure if I'm going to just have like a separate pickups video to show off any of my new additions, or if I'll just lump it all into like my media pickups video like I did last week. But we shall see. We shall see. But anyway, that is going to wrap this video up. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you do subscribe to come along on this journey where I get all the PS1 and PS2 games that I had as a kid. So yeah, I hope you will join me for that journey. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you all on the very next upload.